any restriction of any function on a, it does tau, any function is tau to some metric space or uniform space, doesn't matter, is fragmented for scattered x tau. And here we just in this position. Okay? But why it is true?
If x is rather equal, it is true.
Not every function. Of course not, because there are a lot of functions of metrizable space or metrizable compactum which is not fragmentable. So, but for scattered, it's very, very good reason, because what we really need to check, what's the fragmentability? If you have some x, our x, and now you have some a, then you have some epsilon here into y. So you need to cut for every epsilon some relatively open part here, such that the corresponding image will be epsilon small. But we have a very big privilege here, because our space is scattered. And if our space is scattered, we have any time for our A isolated point. And if you get isolated point, it is trivial that the point, the diameter is always 0. So it works automatically, and it works not only for fragmented, but any family of functions will be fragmented. So you understand that if you have into A, anytime you have some isolated point, so take this isolated point or take corresponding open subset in the big space, such that the intersection is just your one point, and this one point goes to one point, which will be, of course, the diameter will be 0, so small. So I think.
So you are saying that
I think it is.
So this uniformity.
Yeah. Instead of uniformity, you can take, of course, say 0-1 metric.
Okay. So I'm thinking about some non-scattered situation. So then.
No, the scattered situation is a general position, even for metrizable spaces, and of course you have many fragmented functions. So we have a criterion. What is the fragmentability in usual terms for Polish spaces, for example? In particular case, compact metrizable space. It's just bare one functions. So it's exactly bare one functions. So take anything which is not bare one. You have not fragmented.
Yeah. Okay, maybe this general observation is.
Yes, it's works. Of course, this trick works only in very special case of scattering.
But here you have special functions, it's lambda is, not just some.
No, it does not matter. Does not matter, because here we have E or Y or something else. If you are worried about uniformity, we have here uniformity. I already mentioned. We have here some original topology, a uniformity which is unique on every compact space. We have unique compatible uniformity. So in this sense, you consider here this function and ask the question if it's, it was a definition. So the setting is well defined. Okay. So now let's continue. So we need to understand what is the apparatus behind this theorem. We try now to find some representation not only for the dynamical system, but even for some family of function, and first of all think about some orbit, because it gives some key steps in order to complete our needs and some results we already mentioned. So, as expected, what is the representability of families now? Just a little bit more complicated maybe situation, but very natural to understand what we need here. I already mentioned at the beginning that one of the aims is to understand when some given abstractly defined pairing, says so, can be embedded into some Banach space, some kind of geometrization. So we want to see it as a restriction of a usual bilinear map and of course if we start this compact space and what's our setting F was unbounded family into C of x, one very cheap solution we have, it's immediate we have, because take V is Cx. In this way we have solution, but we need, as usual, some nice class of Banach space. You have some question? So that's exactly the time to complete this point I asked before. So we are speaking about such kinds of representations. So our setting now is a little bit more conditioned that our F is S invariant, meaning that for every F, every S, Fs is into F, of course, it's understood. And we want to find, in this context, representation on reflex explosives. And the question is, what kind of property can do it? So how can we realize it is possible or not? And after all the background and some results, classical results, I think it is the idea is unavoidable here. Use Grothendieck's double limit property. So it turns out if you take F not only invariant but also in usual way, if it requires double limit property, that everything is good in order to get here some reflexive space. So now I think you understand what was the motivation of this theorem and why we are speaking here about double limit property. After all previous results, I think it is quite expected also. Okay, so we will see it. First of all, again, why we have this implication from 1 to 3. Because we already mentioned, we can see again that this theorem, so which comes from a Verlet-Schmulian theorem, we already mentioned this criteria, and about from 2-1 is this the main part. So we have this part from 2-1. So we can, our assumption will be that the pointwise closure remains in the area of continuous functions, and we will see just a heavy part which depends on Derichs-Siegel-Josephson. And as to this part, what we have here, the equivalence between 2 and 3, it's also not trivial at all. It's a quite heavy theorem, but it is well known, and it can be found, for example, in the book of Berglund, Jürgen Milnes, I mentioned several times. And okay, some preparation, maybe 1 minute, and go to our break. So if this theorem will lead us, I mean, 18, we will get that one of the results, we already used it, and I mentioned several times that we can show that Wicklionius periodicity is exactly the reflexive approximability. So we have in fact, two cases here when our action is separately continuous, say, or our action is jointly continuous. According to these assumptions, we have two situations. We can ensure that H, corresponding H in our representation of S, weakly continuous or strongly continuous. I mean, two senses, remember. So operator topology, weak operator topology or strong. So again, the only part why it is necessary, because we have this theorem. Oh, it is sorry, it is some broken link. Okay, it's not so that matter here. And finally, I wanted to say is the fact that it is a graph system. What happens that it is quite easy. I think this some other place that if you take reflexive space, if you already have reflexive space, consider the canonical dynamical system we already used several times. I mean theta op and its B star. This dynamical system, very easy to see, will be a Wicklionius period. Just one of the ways to see it. Or enveloping semigroup, look at enveloping semigroup. Semigroup will be just theta op itself, because theta op is compact already. So you do not need in any compactification to close something, because it is already closed, is compact. One of the ways. And the second part, for every f, it should be WAP. It should be WAP here. Okay. Not tame, but WAP. My mistake. The orbit F has W-limit property, weighing weakly precompact. That's one of the ideas. When we have something weakly precompact, in fact, by Namioka theorem, joint continuity theorem, it is easy to see that the corresponding family or even directly, maybe I won't get too much complicated in this way. It is easy to see that if you have, in this case, it's yeah. So the main part will be in the next theorem, and we will conclude that we have sufficiently many functions, sufficiently many representations in order to separate volumes. Say, for our X, if our X is compact, it will be enough in order to see that we have a weakly reflexive approximability. So after our break, we will see the main part here. This is the main part, 20. So it's time to go to our break.
Thank you very much. So we have 1 hour and 15 minutes break.